Hello everyone, I am Will, and welcome back to my playthrough of Dark Souls 2, Skull of the First Sin. Yep. Last we left off, we did the Doors of Pharos. Yep. It's not a big zone. It's actually not on any main path. Well, it's adjacent to a main path, but you don't actually have to do it in order to progress to Brightstone Cove here. So it's completely optional, but we did it anyway. Yep. It is the other Rat King Covenant location aside from the Gravest Saints. So, if you're playing online, you're not part of the Rat King Covenant, it is possible for you to get dragged. Well, you can still get dragged into even if you're in the Covenant, but if you're online, you could get dragged into another player's world and you have to run the gauntlet towards the bonfire in the area. So yeah, just be mindful of that when you're running through there. Again, it's not very big, but it is full of Gurm warriors, 2 or 3, I think 3 primal knights, a few rat dogs, only like 3 of them I think. Yeah, but a whole bunch of Pharos contraptions that will open up various doors, revealing enemies, activating traps, blocking a path actually. But yeah, there's a bunch of Pharos contraptions. In order to get all the items, you only need to do 3 of them. But the rest of them are there for the Rat King Covenant, if you want to do that. So, yep. Yeah, we started off at the bonfire to the entrance of the zone. Before actually going in, we stepped out, took care of the Primal Knight, the Gurm warrior that was there, as well as another Gurm blocking a chest. The chest containing a dragon chime, or dragon charm. And after that, we dipped back down and into the Doors of Pharos, where we were greeted by a Primal Knight, a rat dog, and then we were invaded by Bowman and Gunthry. Yep. The Primal Knight is just your big, slow, tanky enemy. Not very hard. The rat dog, on the other hand, he inflicts toxic. Yeah, he inflicts toxic, and I think it only takes like 2 attacks for him to actually inflict it. At least on us, anyway. It only took 2. So we were, and considering the fact that he's kind of low to the ground, makes it kind of difficult to hit with some weapons. So yeah. And also doesn't help that there's deep water in the zone as well, slowing our movement. So that's just didn't help as well. And the cherry on top is Bowman Gunthry. Yep, he's an NPC invader who only invades if you're offline. Yeah, if you're online, he won't show up, but if you're offline, he will show up. Yep, so yeah, that was our first little task, was to just survive that little onslaught. Almost didn't. Getting toxic by the rat dog was definitely not good, but we managed to kill it. The Primal Knight, I think we used a Dragon Charm to cure our toxic, and then we took out Gunthry. Yep. He's a dual Avalon NPC, so he's not that hard. Yeah, just kind of press down on him, swing with abandon, and he sort of go down. Yep. And he can drop Avalons. He can drop his weapons, his armor set, which I think is the Royal Swordsman set. You can drop an Allstone if you're in the Covenant of Champions. But yeah. He doesn't respawn, at least not in the new game. I think he does have a respawn limit in New Game Plus, but yeah, but in New Game he just has 1 spawn. So yeah. So we took care of him. Didn't have to worry about him again. And then after that, we just kind of went and unlocked a well, we unlocked the bottom panel of a 3-panel door. Yeah, I think we went clockwise from the entrance. We went left after taking care of the enemies. So yeah, we opened up one of the panels on the 3-panel door. We only opened up the bottom one, because if we opened up just the bottom one, we can't get past the door. But on the other side is a Primal Knight. So if you don't unlock the other panels, he can't come out, so you just kind of sit on the other side and just hit him with arrows, or run in, poke him, and jump back out before he can hit you. So we just kind of, I think we just plucked him off with a lightning spear, I believe. And I think we were using our lightning spear, so we used that, defeated him, and in that little room at the end was a chest containing the Saint Tyr's spear. A very interesting weapon. Yeah, it has very high durability, like 500, I think. If it's not broken, it's classed as a halberd. And when it does break, if you do manage to break it, it becomes a spear. Yep, and it doesn't suffer any damage drop off if broken, unlike other weapons. Yes, but the trade-off is that it takes a ton of durability before you can break it, and so every time you rest, it restores the durability. So it's like you actually have to go out of your way to break it. But once you break it, you don't have to worry about it again, because durability doesn't get restored until you take it to a blacksmith. But and the other downside is that it has no scaling. Yeah, it has no scaling bonus. So whatever damage it has is what it gets. I'm not sure if it has it once it breaks. Never actually used it myself, but yeah. It's one of those weapons that's really good if you're going to try and beat the game without resting at a bonfire, because you don't have to worry about its durability, which is one of the things you do have to worry about if you're going to do that. But anyway. Yep, so we got the spear. Continued around. Don't think there was anything else on the bottom level. Well, there was a passageway leading up to a body that had, I think, a soul item and a lockstone, I believe. But yeah, so that was it on the bottom floor of that little door area. Went through the archway, some more rat dogs. Ladder, took a ladder up. Took on some Gurm warriors. Used a Pharaoh's contraption to unlock a door down back on the bottom, or jump back down, leading to like a little passageway that kind of goes up. And that little passageway was a chest containing I think a faint stone and a twinkling titanite. And it eventually led us to a drop off onto the upper level. We dropped down. Another Gurm warrior. There's also another Gurm warrior that was activating a trap, or he was swinging at a pressure plate on the wall, which activated wall traps leading to a chest. And so, waiting for him to deactivate the trap, because he's programmed to hit the button every so often, and hitting the button twice in a row will deactivate the trap. So he hits it once, trap activates, hits it again, it deactivates, and he's just going to sit there and do it until you get close to him. So we waited for him to turn the traps off, ran to him, avoided damaging the wood chest that he's by, because again, if your wood chest breaks, you lose the item inside and all you get is rubbish. So yep. So we took care of him, and then we opened up a chest, but the chest is trapped. Yeah, it's a trapped chest, so it can either be a crossbow trap or a poison trap. I think it was a poison trap for us. It could be either or. It's random whenever you open it. So now there's some more contraptions on the wall. Those open up to, I think, more enemies. So we left them as is. Then we press forward, taking us to the upper level of the main area, where I think we went clockwise again, went left, led us to the bonfire of the area, and next to the boss fog. But before we did that, continued going around. Gurm warrior. There's also another 3-panel door, which again we only opened up at the bottom, revealing a primal knight, which we easily took care of. And in that little room was a soul item. I think it was a brave warrior soul. And then we continued going around. Yep, 2 more Gurm warriors. I think that was it on the upper level. So I think all the other Pharaoh's contraptions were just, activating traps or revealing more enemies. So we just kind of left that alone. So we circled back around to the boss, prepared for the fight, and then we took on the Royal Rat Authority. Yep. The main enemy in the fight are actually the 4 rat dogs that are there at the beginning. Yeah, because considering how much poison they build up and how little resistance we had, if they attacked us, we would have gotten toxic, and that would have ruined our day. But for some reason, when you enter the boss fog, they're supposed to activate and come running at you, giving you a few seconds to deal with them before the Royal Rat Authority actually gets up and jumps down to the fight. but for whatever reason, they did not immediately attack. So we were able to close it on them, and we were able to blast one of them with lightning spear. So it became a 4-on-1 down to a 3-on-1, and then at that point they did activate. So, which I was kind of surprised they didn't activate immediately like Nashka did, but we not gonna. We'll take what we can get. So after blasting the one, use soul appease to kill the other two, and then we just kind of whacked the last one down. And at that point, War of Authority showed up, but he was too late. It became a 1-on-1 fight, and he's not hard. Yeah, he's not very hard. As long as you get under him, he's not too bad. His only real danger is this kind of little lunging attack. Like, he'll hop away, and then he'll do like a little lunging attack. That has a bit of a delay to it, and I'm bad at delayed attacks. so he pretty got hit most of the time whenever he does it. So, and the only other thing to watch out for is that he will puke. He'll regurgitate his stomach for some reason, laying down a pool of acid, which will corrode your weapons and armor and all that stuff. So, yeah. But we just beat him down with our Dragon Crescent Axe, Lightning Spear, and he was dead. We got his soul. That opened up the path towards the Rat King. Yep, the Rat King is also in the Doors of Pharos. So, we talked to him. We did join the Covenant again, but he didn't have anything new. So we just pressed forward. That dropped us down outside the Doors of Pharos. In fact, above the bonfire outside. And I think we dropped down, rested, came back up the little path. Instead of going to the Doors of Pharos, we went up, where we met Lonesome Gavlon. Yep. That is Gavlon's third and final location, so he will be there for the rest of the game. So it's a pretty quick trek from the bonfire to Gavlon, so we can sell stuff whenever we want. So it's going to be really nice, not having a cluttered inventory after item farming. But and after that, we just kind of made our way up, fought through some more Gurn warriors. There was a Crystal Lizard that I did eventually get, but I think it only drops like a Titanite shards and like an old mundane stone or something like that. It wasn't really that important, but I did eventually get it. There's some more Gurn warriors, through a passageway, up the stairs here, to this bonfire, and I think after that, we went back to Majula real quick. I think that was it. Yeah, I think that was it. I'm trying to remember what else we did, but I think that was it. Yeah. We might have checked on some NPCs, but other than that, that was it. Yeah, that's all we did. Just the Doors of Pharos, and we made our way to here, to Brightstone Cove Tseldora. And between episodes, I did go back into Shaded Woods to farm the Lion Warrior set. I finally did get their cape, which I am having on right here. I also went back down to the Doors of Pharos to farm the Primal Knights for their armor and weapons. I think I still need to get one of their weapons. The Primal Knights, I think, drop 2 weapons. I think they drop a halberd, which I do have, and I think they drop a greatsword, which I'm not entirely sure if the ones in Doors of Pharos will drop the greatsword. I think the ones in the castle do, but I don't know about them. But I'll go back, maybe farm them a bit more just to make sure. But so I got the Primal Knight equipment, the shield, the halberd. Then I got the Gurn Warrior armor set. Yeah, they drop actually 2 different helmets. Yeah, the Gurn Warriors drop a Gurn Warrior helmet and then a Gurn Warrior great helmet. Hold on. I have it here. Yeah, they dropped 2 helmets. Yeah, they drop a Gurn Warrior helm and a Gurn Warrior Great Helm. Yeah, this is the one they're actually wearing, but they can also drop this one. So I got their armor set, their shield, which is an amazing shield. Probably one of the better great shields in the game. It's because it has 100% physical and 100% fire resistant. So, oh yeah. Appears to be a stone monument that was converted into a makeshift shield. Naturally, it's quite heavy and haphazardly crafted, but very few attacks will make it past this monster. Yep. 100% physical, 100% fire, 75 stability. Everything else is 30, which is okay, I guess. But the 100% fire is really the trademark of this shield. So I got their shield, and the weapon is an anvil. It's an anvil on a stick. Yeah, it's yeah, the Grim are basically makeshift dwarves. It's I love them. So yeah. Also, I think that was it for them. They also dropped chunks, so I did grab a few of them from there. Also, some of the dog rats. I farmed some of them. I did get a few feral lockstones from them, as well as some rat tails. But then after that, I went back down into the Grave of Saints to farm the rats there for their rat tails. Also needs a bit more radiant gems and repair powders as well. So looking pretty good on our inventory. Although I don't have enough rat tails. Yeah, I need another 11 rat tails in order to get the rank 3 of the Rat King Covenant. So still got a ways to go in that one, but yep. And the last thing I did between episodes was take those souls and leveled up. Yep, I think I leveled up 7 times, I believe. Yeah, I think I put 3 into vigor, giving us 28, and then 5 more into intelligence. Yes. So I have the ring of knowledge on. So 5 into intelligence and 3 into vigor. So 9. Okay, not bad. So, yep. Well, looking good. Yeah, I know I said I was going to probably stick with faith, but I do want to use a bunch of different spells and such. Because I mean, I tend to stick with Dex, Faith, and Dark Souls 2, 3, Elden Ring because I just like it. But I want to try the magic, and so here we are. And that's all I did between episodes. Just item farming, some level ups. Yep. And today we'll be taking on Brightstone Cove Tseldora. Yep, at least the first part. Yeah, at least this first part. It shouldn't be too long anyway. At least I hope so. But yeah, got this encampment here, a little path going down. It's like a little, almost like a monastery of sorts. But yeah, it shouldn't be too long. At least I hope so. But yeah, but still quite a few things we want to pick up in here, especially in this little camp. Yep. These falconers, these guys would be our primary source of sunlight metals. Yep, because they can drop them, and this will probably be our farming spot for that. So there's also another mimic in here. There's some pigs, which we will need. Just some hollowed peasants who do hit hard because their weapons are infused with dark, so that's why it hits hard. Yep. We got some ball traps on the path leading down. There's an interesting encounter in New Game Plus in this little area as well. It'll eventually lead us to the Prowly Magus and Congregation boss fight. A very easy boss fight that can be tedious, but it shouldn't be too hard. We can actually summon Benhart for that fight, and I will do that because it is required of us to progress this quest line, because we need to summon him 3 times in order to get his stuff. So might as well summon him for the easy fights when we can. Yep. Yeah, so yeah. Gold for today is at least this first chunk of Brightstone Cove. And our equipment for today, using the Twin Blade, +9. Yep. I'll be honest, I've never used Twin Blades in Dark Souls 2, so I'm gonna see how it works. so I have it to +9. I have my Magic Witch Tree branch, because it is probably our better spell staff for us right now. Our Royal Cat Shield, just in case, with our medium 100% physical shield. Rings is Ring of Steel Protection, because we're going to need some more physical defense, because our armor doesn't provide much, as you can tell. So just to boost our survivability. Ring of Knowledge again just to boost our intelligence for more spell powers. Ring of Blades +1 for again more attack power, and Stone Ring just so we can make sure we can flinch these smaller enemies, because you know it just helps. Stone Ring's probably the best ring in the game in my opinion, but that's my opinion. Yep, in our armor set, I have my Wandering Spell Blade. I don't know what you're gonna call it, but Wander Hood +6, Lion Warrior Cape +6. I really do like how it looks. Bone King Cuffs and Bone King Skirt. Yep, we got these from defeating the Skeleton Kings and buying them from Titchy Grin. Yep. Yeah, these take Twinkling Titanites to upgrade, so I don't have any of those to spare. Yeah. But it's a very light set, so we're going to be focusing on dodging and all that stuff. Yeah. Yep. Again, here's our stats. Looking pretty good. Again, I do want to get my faith up to 42 so I can use Great Lightning Spear, but I might have to wait a little bit. I'm going to try and focus on our Vigor, Endurance, and Vitality again. Maybe some Attunement as well for an additional slot. I think the next slot is at 25 Attunement. But yeah, I just want to work on Vigor, Endurance, Vitality, a little bit of Attunement, then a bit more into Strength and Dex, and then work on my Faith and Intelligence. So, we can always respec. We do have soul vessels, we can respec in this game, so this is not permanent. I can always change it up if I want to. Alright. I have 2 copies of Great Soul Arrow and Great Magic Weapon. Oh yeah. Alright. Shall we get the show on the road? I think I rambled on long enough. Alright. Here's the bonfire. Benhart's summon sign should be in one of these tents. We are going to go left to right, because I think it's probably a better way. Although I do want to get these falconers off their perch. Can I hit you from here? Nice. Oh, it's a one-shot. That's what I like. Since it's a one-shot, let's use our binoculars just so I can snipe some of these guys. Center him up. Oh, he's really? That was a one-shot. Unless it's a distance involved, but who knows? Ow. I think you can parry projectiles, although I'm having a hard time. Okay, I don't think you can. I thought you could. Let's pop another one. Well, if you're gonna snipe, we'll snipe too. Oh, we missed. Yeah, there. Oh, we have a taker. Might be better on inflicting statuses than attacking. But it works. Oh, you're just out of range. Oh well. Well, if I had magic... Ow! Alright, buddy. You're tanky. But... Alright, get our stamina back. There we go. Yeah, the per hit of the Twin Blades is... What was that? Oh, those are pigs. Okay. But yeah, the Twin Blades per hit's not that much, but they do hit quickly, so it could work. Lacerating arrows for bleed. Proud Knights. Name of soldier. Name of soldier. And soldier. Cool. Bunch of souls. Nice. I'm guessing they killed these guys and now they're going to bury them. Oh. There we go. Here's Benhart. Yep. Right, so we'll come back for him later. Once we're ready to take on the boss, then we'll fight him or summon him. Nice. Let's see how a magic weapon does. Works best if your weapon's already infused with magic, but Gotcha. Alright. I need more stamina. That's what I was afraid of, not having enough stamina. Ow. But that's a trade-off. Definitely want to break that cover. Titanite shard. Nice. Because we are going to jump in the well. There should be another pig in the well as well, so I think we might be able to just run off. Yep. Just run off another pig in the well. Ow. There we go. Yeah, just running off is enough. Holy wires, sure. Yep. And this is how you get into this building. Yep. Yeah, there's no doors to this building. You actually have to go through the well. Yeah, the only way out is you can go out, but you can't come in. So you have to go in through the well. And this is a mimic. Yep, it's a mimic. A mimic in this tiny room. This is gonna suck. We're probably gonna get grabbed. So let's 90 Nights. Staff of Wisdom and Dark Leggings. Nice. Alright, we'll take care of those after we take care of this guy. Alright, just back off because it's a grab animation. There we go. Alright, not too bad, not too bad. Yes, the metal mimics have a different resistance to the wood ones. The wood ones, I think, are weak to fire, while the metal ones are weak to lightning. Yeah, so, yeah. Which is neat. Having different mimic types. Ooh, that's kind of weird looking. Looks like a little evil grin there going, but yeah. It's neat having the different mimics and different chest types have different resistances. It's a nice little detail. Nice little detail. And he had not the dark. I think he had the leggings. Yep, dark leggings. Yep, same as the other. So we have a third piece of the Dark Wraith set. Taste the light of our Art of Life Drain. Yep. But he also had the Staff of Wisdom, 50 Intelligence. Ooh yeah. But this is the staff that Strayed is using. It's also the best staff in the game for sorceries. Yeah. Staff of the Lost Land of Olafus. Sorcery dedicated catalyst. Cannot be used to cast hexes. The crystal at the tip of the staff greatly augments spell strength. I think that's only really mentioning how good its intelligence is. I don't think it has an actual percentage boost, but already a finely crafted staff, made even more effective by its crystal, the brilliance of which has been polished over time with powerful magic. we don't meet the requirement. So, but it's a very cool looking staff. It does take 50 intelligence, like it said, but it is very powerful. You could further infuse it with a faint stone to further boost its magic damage, which is nuts. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to use sorceries, use that if you can. Again, it's like 50 intelligence, so respec might be required to even consider it. But all right, yeah, Mimic, definitely a good one to get it. Definitely a good one to get. Now we can just hop out. All right, that should be most of this encampment, if I remember right. Oop. Where are you going, buddy? Ow. Where were you going, huh? That was a really odd pathing he decided to go. Before I forget, there are an item in this urn. Another soulless soldier. Nameless soldier, not soulless. Now we use soulless, but yeah, I think the bonfire used to be in here. Then they moved it out there. Yeah. It used to be in one of these buildings. I mean, one of these tents, but. That's where one of the falconers was at. All right. Oh, it's just the graphics, okay. I saw something on the wall, I was like, what's that? And I was like, nope, it's just the texture. Alright. It's just that it's very bright compared to the rest of it, so I thought it was something. But, nope. Alright, so that's the encampment. Yep, that's the encampment. Yep. And if we can take a look further down to the cove, yep. That's our destination right there. Excuse me. Had a attempt to clear my throat, but yep, you can see an item on the balcony there. There's a little cathedral. Again, that's our destination. And you can see there's a little path down. You see the little ball traps. Yep. So if you're not careful, they will break it. You'll get squashed. But since we know they're there, we can actually use bow and arrows to break the little framing, keeping the balls in place, and disable the trap ahead of time. Yeah, just a bunch of peasants. All right. Yeah, our eventual destination is down there, and that'll eventually lead us down into the Duke's Deer Freya, but it's going to be hot minute before we get there. Alright. Alright, peasants. Be disarmed. There we go. Ball traps disabled. We actually get a better view into the Brightstone Cove. Yep. I think Crane and Pate are fighting over there somewhere. Or I think it's actually down there. Yeah, I think it's in there. A whole bunch of rooms along the cliff edges. A lot of items they get to by drop down, so yeah. We're going to be doing a lot of fast traveling back up just to get all the drop downs. Yeah, again, Ornifex is down there. The Forlorn can invade in, I think, a few spots down there. But almost looks like an excavation site of sorts, or excavation. Yeah, definitely mining out the crystals here. There's also a very famous, what do you want to call it? Secret down there that we're definitely going to have to do eventually. Well, once we get down there, we'll do it. But yeah, it's a very, very interesting secret. that's for next episode, at least. Alright, so let's deal with these guys. Soul item. Let's head up. Again, they're not too dangerous, but they can still hit pretty hard, so I just gotta be careful. Yeah. Oh, they do curse as well. Oh, okay. Okay, I wasn't sure about that. Nice. Thank you. Ow. I'm sorry, man, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to ragdoll you into the ground. Alright. Yep. And there's a lot of them in here, but again, they're not too bad to deal with, but Brave Warrior. Don't mind if I do. Alright. Let's just drop down. Alright, I think that's... There might be a few more coming up, but yeah, there's a few more here. But this area has an interesting encounter in New Game Plus. Yep. If you're New Game Plus and higher, the Duke's Deer Freya will actually pop up here. Yeah, it should become an actual enemy you can attack. And as long as you don't die or... I think as long as you don't die or teleport out, any damage you do to her will persist to the boss fight. But it's an interesting little encounter. Yeah, but again, it only happens on New Game Plus, so won't be seeing it this time. Well, I'll probably do a New Game Plus playthrough or run through, whatever you want to call it, because there are a lot of changes in New Game Plus, so I probably will do that. Alright, buddies, let's go. Come on. Thank you. Yep. The spider motifs on the door. Yep. Arachnophobics, be warned. Yep. Be warned. It gets dark. And then we encounter, I think, our first encounter of, yep, there they are. I think the game calls them parasitic spiders? Alright. Yep. And I'm pretty sure they're in Nightrun as well, but never actually gotten that far. Just missed. The little skull on their backs. Basically restores most of our spells. Yep. Alright. Alright. And I think they're weak to thrust and fire, I believe. I know they're weak to fire. I think they're weak to thrust as well, but I could be wrong on that. It may look like a fake wall, but it's not. Yeah. You can't get into these as well, so... There's another sconce we can light. Might as well. There's another thing with these spiders. If you have your torch out, those spiders will actually not come at you. Or they'll keep their distance if you have fire. Let me just run past these guys, light the sconce real quick. Alright, so this chest here is unique. in that it is trapped. But it's not a usual trap. It's not a usual crossbow or poison trap. It's actually an enemy luring trap. Yeah, because there are a whole bunch of spiders that'll pour out of these holes. You can actually see, yep. Yep. There's some more there. So if you go open this chest, an orb will pop up, it'll scream, it'll attract these spiders, and you'll get overwhelmed. Actually, let me see if I can... Yep. Oh, they triggered. Okay. I wasn't sure if they would... No, I wasn't expecting them to trigger. Ow. Ow. Are you guys afraid of this torch as well? Yes, okay. So fire in general is what they're scared of. Okay. Not just a torch. Alright. So we can just cheese this if we want. There we go. Alright. So having a torch or a lint sconce like that, well, they'll scurry away. Nice. Good to know. That's good to know. And so now, since they're all dead, we just open up the chest. Yep. That's the orb that would activate the spiders if we hadn't done it already. But and you saw there's like 8 of them. I think there was 8 of them that just kind of crawled out. Yep. So, and they're all tied together. So if we attack one, they all come. Yep. And it's all for 20 heavy bolts. Not really worth it. Not really worth it, but yep, anyway. Yep. So that taken care of. It should be an effigy in the thing, and it should be a fake wall. This will lead us to the side of the building where we saw the item on the... Take care of him. It's an urn. I think it's a water urn. Yep, there's no other fake wall. Nope, just this one. Yep, this is the item we saw back up there. And it's the priest set. Yep. Priestesses set. Yeah, we already got the robes from Merciless Rowan. We also now have the rest of it. Traditional headpiece worn by Drangelic clerics. The clerics of Drangelic have retained their normal status. It is customary for clerics to wear different garbs depending on their sex. The reason for this practice is unknown. This is a woman's headpiece. There's priestesses' gloves. I think it's a skirt, yeah, just a regular skirt. Now a priestess of Drangelic. Not bad, not bad. But we'll stick with our what we're currently using. Yep. Where are you? I had the Skeleton Lords. This was the Nine's Cape. Alright. Yep. So this is the Priestess's Garbs. In the original it was an Estus Shard, but the guy moved. Yep. And that's water. Oh, that's not a good thing. That was not good. Yeah, that was a bad idea. Yeah, because that was a bad idea. So we're going to have to wait for that to go away. Oh, hello. Yep, okay. Just confirming that the torch sconce here is scaring him away. Alright. Let's gonna have to wait for our lightning defense to go back to normal. Yeah, because there are. This is the. Oh yeah, we have to go get Benhart. But this is the boss to the Polymagus and Congregation. And the reason I say that that little water urn was kind of like a trap, because there are two priestesses, hollow priestesses that are accompanying the Magus and Congregation, and they can use lightning spells. Yeah, I think they use like a lightning spear and lightning bolt. Yeah. So being wet like this is very bad, because then they'll do a lot of damage to us. But other than the Magus and other than the priestess, it's not that hard of a fight. Yeah. Most of the enemies are hollow prisoners that are. Some of them are crawling on the floor, but it can be difficult to hit. But yeah, the priestesses again use lightning bolts. They can cast heal as well, so just be mindful of that. If you get an enemy low and then all of a sudden he starts gaining health, it's because they're healing. Yep. And the main enemy, the Polymagus, is a spellcaster type. Yep. He's not too bad, but he can hit pretty hard if you let him. But yeah, shouldn't be a hard fight. Yeah, shouldn't be too bad. But alright, but I have to go back to the camp to get Benhart, so I'll be back here with Benhart. So I'll see you in a moment. Alright, we're back. I have Benhart with me. Yep. Yeah. Again, in order to get his equipment, we gotta summon him for 3 boss fights, and he has to survive for 3 boss fights. And this counts as 1, so might as well do it on an easy one just to make sure he actually survives. So, yeah. So now we have Benhart. It shouldn't be too bad. They will have a bit more health, a bit more resistances, but it shouldn't be that bad. But again, it's the Polymagus Congregation boss fight. Shouldn't be too hard. Our main targets are going to be clearing out the undead hollows in the Congregation. The best thing to do is probably use like spells like Soul Appease or Firestorm. Something that has a big AoE that can one-shot them if you can hit them. Yeah. Then after that, take on the priestesses, and then take on the Magus. But with Benhart here, we can actually probably focus on the priestesses first, just so they don't get their healing spells off. But yeah. The Magus is pretty resistant to magic. The priestesses are also pretty resistant to lightning and I think fire as well. I think they're pretty resistant to. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll use magic weapon just to get a little more damage. Is always better, but won't be as helpful as like lightning. But well, no, the priestesses are still pretty resistant to lightning. All right. Anyway. All right, Benhart, you ready? Take a green blossom for stamina regen. Let's go. Alright, one priestess down. We got some of the congregation. Focus on this priestess here. There we go. Ow. You got this, Benhart. Yeah, Benhart. Yep. And for our troubles, we get a Titanite slab. Yep, a Titanite slab. Alright. Polymagus and Congregation. Yeah, again, it's not too hard. It's just the sheer number of enemies is what really the real trick to it. Because if you're not careful, you can get cornered by the congregations. Again, you saw that some of them were crawling on the ground, so you'll probably lose track of them if you're not careful. Get surrounded, get stuck, get blasted by the magus, and the priestesses, their little lightning bolts. And they also have some more water urns here in the arena, just to mess with your lightning defense against the priestesses. So, nah, I don't think you can get anywhere. I don't think that's anything. Hold on. Let me just make sure. I don't think it's anything, but you never know. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Just making sure. But, yeah. Yeah. Just Prowling Magus and Congregation. There's not much to say about it. Just try to clear out the Congregation as best you can, then the Priestesses, and then the Magus. Yeah. Again, we had Ben Hart, so we were able to focus on the Priestess first, and then clear out the Congregation, and then take on the Magus. Yep. And for our troubles, we got a Titanite Slab. Yay! Can never say no to a Titanite Slab. Nope. Although I did use like 2 of them, I think. Oh, we have 5. I know I did 1 for our spear here, yeah. I think that's the only one, but I thought I'd use another one. I guess not. Alright. Now we press forward. There should be a bonfire out here. Yeah. Well, before that, we want to go here. Ladder up. And this should lead us to... I think that's Cromwell, I think his name is. Yeah, Cromwell the Partner, I believe. These spiders are non-aggressive. So as long as you don't attack them, they'll leave you alone. But, yep. Another NPC buddy. A Fading Soul. Excuse me, good sir. Skeptic Spice. Fading Soul and a Cleric's Small Shield. A Bonfire Aesthetic. And another Fading Soul. Yep. I think we already had a Cleric's, yes. Oh, it's a different one. Okay. Okay. A small shield used by clerics on pilgrimage, enchanted with a somewhat fragile blessing that allows the spells to deflect it by parrying. Especially crafted to provide extra durability and some level of physical defense. So probably like a better version of the one we already had, maybe. Very good lightning negation there. Look at that, 90. That's very good. Physical defense could be a bit better, but it's not too bad. Yep. Sweet. Right. And it's a small shield, so it should have a decent parry window too. Nice, nice. Yeah, it looks different to the one we already had, so it's probably just a different version. But, yeah. Alright. I believe you're Cromwell? I think you're called the Partner, or a Partner anyway. Yeah. The Cloaks of Velka. So, am I right? Are you Oswald? No, not Oswald. Cromwell. Are you Cromwell? Like I remember?
Something seems to be bothering you. Yes, I can tell. It is written upon your face. You have doubts about something you did. I am Cromwell. Regret, anguish, disillusion, bewilderment. What wonderful gifts they are. Together, they are the essence of life. Don't you agree?
I wouldn't exactly agree, but they are a part of it. Maybe not the sole pieces of it, but, I mean, okay.
But now you're lost, bewildered by your own actions. You poor little thing. Yes, how tiny and frail are we. But if your heart is yet sincere, your sins will be forgiven. Now is the chance. Demonstrate your sincerity to me.
Cromwell the Partner, yep. So we can buy items, ask for pardons. If you have sinned, is where you get pardoned. Particularly if you accidentally anger an NPC you didn't want to, come to him, pay him souls, reset the status of them. Yeah, we probably have a bunch. Oh, okay. I have sinned. Alright. Oh, yeah. I thought abandoning covenants counted as sin, but I think we mainly did it with Shalquar, so I think that might have bypassed that, but... Alright, so let's talk.
He's out for you.
Ring of Resistance. Why did you give that to me?
We all deserve mercy. Every last one of us.
Okay, I was not expecting to get a ring so soon, but we'll take it. I guess not gonna say no. Anything else for me?
Anyone can be forgiven, as long as he is sincere. No matter how terrible the sin. Surely, we all deserve mercy. Yes.
Yes, we all deserve mercy, no matter the sin, huh? Even if it's the gravest of all, huh?
Anyone can be no matter. Surely.
Alright. So I don't think I have much to say. Alright, so let's see what you got. He's got the White Priest sets. I think it's the male version, I believe. Yeah. Clerics. Position were only preserved as a nod to tradition. It's customary for clerics to wear different garbs and sex. Yep, this is the men's headpiece. This is the men's attire. We'll just buy it now. Come on. Just buy it now so don't forget about it. Various rings. We already have all these, so we don't need to buy them. Sells Dark Trox. Temporarily boosts Dark defense. I thought we already had a bunch of these, unless there's a different kind. I'll have to check. I think these are for dark defense. Unless the ones I have are for, like, curse defense, maybe, but... that's probably what it is. Okay. And he has a bunch of spells, or miracles anyway. Another copy of Great Heal. We'll definitely grab replenishment. We'll probably grab that too. And we should have most of these. Yep. So the one we don't have is Perseverance. And Writhe is caster with a Pure Veil. Grants temporary resistance to status effects. When dense ascetics are sent to distant lands for proselytizing and self-training, but many of them decide not to return. Alright, so this probably just boosts our poison, bleed, curse, resistances, petrification as well. Just grab that. Yeah, scraps of life. I got one of those. Alright. So just having another copy of some of these spells is just always good. I'll take them. But we'll come back for these. I'll buy these probably between episodes when I do some more item farming. But yeah, having another copy of Great Heal is going to be really good, as well as this Heavenly Thunder. Alright. Anything else?
Anyone can be, no matter. Surely.
Alright, Cromwell the
We
Partner.
must never forget our sins.
We must never forget our sins, but we can always forgive. Alright. Cromwell the Partner. We'll be back for your little miracles. Excuse me. He also gave us a ring. Yep. Ring of Resistance. Raises poison, bleed, curse, and petrification. Protective ring adorned with 4 blessed gems. Yep. The creation of the lost land of Olafus. The sorcerer who created this was so powerful that he became widely feared. Probably Strayed. He's the only one I could think of who's really powerful from Olafus. Yep. And it boosts, looks like by, 120? Ooh, that's actually really good. Oh, that's what, 150. Although 120 compared to 150 is not that much, and it's all 4 of them instead of just one. But Oh, this is 400. Never mind. Yeah, these two are going to be a lot better, particularly for those, but for just general exploration, this one's probably pretty good. Yep. Alright. Thank you, Cromwell. Thank you, Cromwell. Alright, so let's go down. Let's go find our bonfire. Yep, that, almost positive that's where Creighton and Pate are fighting in there. Yeah, I think once we drop down there, they'll start engaging in combat, but yeah, so we're just gonna, we'll do that next episode, probably start, yes. A few crystal lizards, a bunch of mages that like to spam homing soul arrows, some spiders. Yep. That little death trap right there. Yeah. That right there. Yep, it's death if you land in there, so just be careful. Yep, so, yeah, Pate's in there fighting. Or Pate and Creighton, yep. Alright, but we'll do that next episode. Cracked red eye orb. Just something to sell. And here we go. Bonfire. Bonfire lit. Yep. There's a little sconce down there. We definitely will light. Yeah, from this point on, we're definitely going to try and light all the sconces we can. Not because an NPC shows up, but just a kind of a rest spot where we can, avoid the spiders. And since we did confirm that they are afraid of even the sconces. Yeah. I knew they were afraid of the torch. I wasn't sure about the sconces, but I did confirm that, so yeah, it's a nice little respite if we want to back away from them. But, yeah. Alright. Is there anything else I want to do? Let me think real quick. No. I'll go up to Majula real quick. I just want to check with Mullen. I don't think he has anything new, but I just want to check. Just want to double check. I don't think there's any new armors, but yeah, I think the Magus, I think you have to get him in Oldia Keep. That's where you get his stuff.
You need arm?
Yeah. Okay.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure, so leave us alone. Alright, let's... You know what? Yep, and with that, I am going to call an episode. Yep, we started our adventures into Brightstone Cove Tseldora. Yep, at least we did the first trek. Yeah, the first trek. The first task was to clear out the little encampment. Just kind of did our clockwise loop around the encampment, using our staff here as well as our binoculars just to kind of pick off some enemies at range. I did test to see if you could parry projectiles with the shield, but I don't think you can. I thought you could. So I think I have a clip somewhere recently that I deflected a firebomb with a weapon somehow. And I was wondering if you could do that with the shield, but either I missed the timing or you can't. So. But I just tested it out just to see. Don't be afraid of testing things out. Yeah, just don't be afraid. But so we tested that. I think it failed. I don't think it works. But and then we just kind of continue to clear out the enemies. There's the peasants, the falconers, some pigs. Yep. Not too hard. They're not too hard. So once we cleared them out, then we just kind of looted the area. There was like a bunch of soul items by the peasant. Another soul item by that little hut, broken building. I think it was a Tynite shard on the corpse on the well. Yep. Yeah. I think there was another item. I can't remember what it was, but lacerating arrows. That's what it was. Lacerating arrows. Yep. And then once we looted that, we destroyed the cover on the well, and then we kind of jumped in. Yep. We jumped into the well. At the bottom, I think it was another Tynite shard. as well as a pig. Yep. Pig's not too hard, but so we took care of him, through the little underground tunnel in the well, up a ladder, and made our way into the actual broken building. And inside was a mimic. Yep, another mimic. Yeah, again, we used a Lloyd's talisman to put him to sleep. Looted the dark leggings, I believe. Yep, the leggings of the dark wraith armor set, as well as the staff of wisdom. Yep, staff of wisdom, the best staff in the game for sorceries, if you have the intelligence for it. Yeah, it requires 50 intelligence, but if you do have that, you max it out. Slap on a faint stone, I believe, which it further boosts its magic damage, and there you have the best staff in the game for sorceries. But we probably won't be using it. I might eventually respec into just like a almost stack faith. Yeah. Although I have to check some of the hexes I want to use. Probably require a little bit of intelligence, but I'm just gonna have to check. There's one in particular I want to try out, but it's going to be... I think I do need like 20-something intelligence just to use it, so I might keep my intelligence. But anyway, yeah, so we looted the mimic, then we killed it. Luckily it didn't do too bad. It is a small space for a big mimic, so it could have gone a lot worse. But luckily our twin blade, because of its multi-hit property, we burst it down pretty quickly. Pretty quickly. And then after that we hopped out of the room, and then we went along the cliff edge, or the cliff path. Yep. Again, we used our binoculars and staff to disable ball traps on the upper ledges. Yeah, one of them killed 2 peasants for us. The other one we could have probably saved to roll on to some of the other peasants we aggroed a bit later, but wasn't quite thinking that far ahead. But anyway, yeah, so we disarmed that trap, up the ladder to where the balls were at, cleared out the peasants, accidentally fell down, and aggroed the rest of the peasants in the little area, and we just kind of had to pick them off as we backpedaled back to the camp. But other than that, it wasn't too bad. And apparently their weapons inflict curse, so I thought it was just straight dark, but nope, it's curse. Oh boy, yep. So just be careful not to get cursed, otherwise it could be bad. But the only thing curse does just inflicts hollow status onto you. Yeah, this causes your hollow to build up as you lose max HP each time it triggers. Yeah. It's basically like dying without dying, so it can be annoying, but it's not the end of the world. But anyway, so we cleared out the peasants, back up the ladder, loot another soul item, continue down the cliff path, some more peasants. I think it was a large shard as well. Opened up the door into like a little underground-ish area, cave area. We're going to our first encounters of the parasitic spiders, as the game calls them. Little spider creatures, which I believe are in Night Rain, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't played enough to actually see them, but I did see the trailer and they were in it, so this is where they started. Dark Souls 2. Individually, they're not too bad, but they can swarm you pretty easily, and when that happens, you're yeah, not good. But you can pick them off one at a time. They're not bad. Nope. So we just took care of the first set. Then we used the flame butterfly to light 2 sconces in the next little room. Yeah, because the next room had a trapped chest. Yep, a unique trapped chest to be exact. Yeah, because you open it up, the trap is actually a floating orb that causes the enemies in the room to aggro. Yep. Yeah, so there's a lot of them. Yeah, there's the 3 or 4 on the ceiling, another 4 or so in the little holes in the wall. So yeah, so if you don't know what's coming, you're gonna get swarmed very quickly and die very quickly. So yeah. So I attempted to disarm the trap, but I guess they're all tied together and aggroed together. So yeah, you attack one, they all come. So, but luckily we did light the sconces ahead of time, giving us a little safe zone to back up into to just kind of funnel them and pick them off with our spells and whatnot. So, yep. And also confirmed that those lit sconces do also cause the fear effect in them. Yeah, the spiders, if you have a torch out, the spiders won't attack, or they won't get close. I mean, they'll come at you, but then they'll back off. Yeah, and apparently they do the same thing around a lit sconce as well. So that's also good to know. It's good to know. So, yeah, so if you don't want to deal with those spiders, have a torch out, and they won't get close. Well, they'll try to get close, but they'll back away. And so we dealt with those spiders, opened up the chest. Well, yeah, then we opened up the chest. Trap triggered, but there was no spiders to aggro. And inside the chest was 20 heavy bolts. Yeah, is it worth it? Probably not, but something. And after that, we opened up the door through a secret wall, which led to a little hallway on the side with some more spiders. Yep. And on a corpse was the priestess's cleric set. Yep. We already had the rose from Merciless Rowan. Now we have the rest of it. Yeah. Again, in the original game, that was a Titanite, not a Titanite shard, a Estus shard, but I think that got moved later on in the area. So, and so then we came back out, went to grab Benhard of Hugo. Yeah, we went back to the camp, summoned him, then made our way back to the boss arena, where we took on Magus and Congregation. Yep. It's basically, the Magus is the main boss enemy. He's the guy with the mask and the staff. And the only other real enemies are the two hollow priestesses that are accompanying him. Yeah, because they can fire magic, like spear, bolts, kind of things, as well as cast heal and like a defensive spell, apparently. Yeah, I think one of them cast some sort of a self buff and took reduced damage, so... Yeah. But with Benhart at our side, it was easy peasy. Yeah. Made even easier than it already is. Yeah, the main danger in that fight is the congregation, because if you lose track of the ones on the ground, you could accidentally get stuck and get surrounded and blasted by the Magus' spells and the priestess' lightning, and it's a real rough fight if you get trapped. But again, with Benhart's help, we focused on the priestesses, then cleared out the congregation, and then took on the Magus, or at least we let Benhart take on the Magus. So. Yep. In our rewards is another Titanite slab. Yep. Won't say no to a slab. We'll take them. But so after that, went outside, hooked a left up a ladder, where we found a room with a bunch of spiders, as well as Cromwell the Pardoner. Yep. Cromwell the Pardoner. Yep. But before we talked to him, we looted the little area in that little room. A bunch of fading souls. A bonfire ascetic, skeptic's spice, I believe, as well as another version of the cleric small shield. Yeah, I think it's a different version. Yeah, probably like a better version than what Targray sells. So after doing that, we talked to Cromwell. He's the guy, if you ever sin on accident, or you say you hit an NPC you didn't mean to hit, they become aggressive, go to him, you pay him souls, he'll reset the enemy aggression, so they'll be friendly again. Yep. But we haven't sinned yet. Yes, we're a good boy, we're a good lady. But yep, so we went to talk to him, and for some reason he gave us a ring. I guess because we either haven't sinned, or we, quote, used his pardoning services to clear sin that we didn't really have, but I think that was on accident. Yeah, I think that was on accident. Although I have a feeling it's purposefully that way. Yeah, I think he's supposed to give it to you once you talk to him, but I don't know. I won't say no to a free ring, I'll say that. So, talked to him, didn't have much to say, checked out his inventory. He had the male version of the priest garbs, so we bought that. He sells the bite rings we already have. He sells a bunch of miracles, most of that we have, except for one, which was perseverance, did I buy that already? Yes, okay. I already bought it. Good. Yeah, so yeah, we'll go back and buy out the rest of his little miracle selections, but and yeah, I think that's it. Yep, and now it's all we really did with him. Yep. So after that, back down the ladder, the other little I'll say alcove out past the door. Yep, an urn containing a red, cracked red eye orb. Yep, and then we went, hit the bonfire, came here to Majula, and that was it. Yep, that was it. Our first trek through Brightstone Cove Tseldora. Yep. And yeah. The next episode will just be further down into Brightstone Cove. Yep. Yeah, the next section will have Creighton and Pate, both of them in combat. So we have a choice to make once we get in there. But yep, so they should be there. They should be fighting each other. Yeah, I think we're gonna end up killing Pate. Yeah, we're gonna help Creighton kill Pate, because if we do most of the legwork in killing Pate, Creighton should give us his stuff. So that's kind of why we want to kill Pate. We already got Pate's stuff, so we don't really care about him. I know it gets sad that way, but that's how we're gonna do it. Yeah, we're gonna do a lot of. You have to do a lot of damage to Pate. Like, you have to be like the main reason he dies. Like, you can't let Creighton kill him, because otherwise you won't get his stuff. You actually have to actively participate and do most of the damage. Then he'll give you his stuff. But yep. So again, because we already have Pate's stuff, we'll help Creighton get Creighton's stuff, and that should be the end of those two. Yeah, and the next session also has a bunch of different drop downs that we're going to probably do a lot of backtracking up back to the bonfire, just to, get all the little nooks and crannies. But yeah, just the biggie is the Creighton and Peyton fight, and a bunch of items. Yeah, a bunch of items. I think we'll also find Ornifex as well in that little section. Weaponsmith Ornifex. The Forlorn can invade this little next section, so I will have the Delegate Ring for that. Although I think it's just another great sword guy, which we don't really care about, but they're not too hard. They drop effigies. I won't say no to that. So yeah, next episode, more of Brightstone Cove. But again, as for another episode, and I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.